Preseason games are coming thick and fast, hot takes are flying around social media, and that can mean only one thing. Fantasy football draft season is here. Whether you're holding the 105 yourself or just want to outthink your opponents, this breakdown is for you. The 2025 first round is as deep as we've seen in years, so every pick counts. Let's make sure you crush it. When you're on the clock at 105, you're almost guaranteed a shot at one of these studs: Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey. After the consensus top four, Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, and one of these guys, the draft here, it really flattens out. That means you have real choices and real risks. So let's break down the best targets and the key fades. Justin Jefferson. Another year, another new quarterback for Jefferson, but here's the thing, it's never slowed him down. He averages a stunning 96.5 receiving yards per game for his career. He's never dipped below 87.5 across the season. Only 5 guys topped that mark in 2024, and Justin Jefferson was one of them. The training camp buzz around JJ McCarthy, it's been mixed, but the Vikings seem committed to him. Jefferson hasn't finished outside the top 5 in PPR points per game since 2021, and he was the wide receiver 1 as recently as 2022. That's bankable consistency. The only flag is that he's nursing a mild hamstring strain. Soft tissue injuries, they can linger, so keep an eye on camp reports, but the upside, it is massive. Jahmyr Gibbs. The hype train is rolling for Gibbs. We've seen top analysts like Evan Silver, Ben Gretsch bumping him up to their running back 1 overall. He's leapfrogged Saquon Barkley in expert consensus ranking, now sitting at RB2 behind Bijan Robinson. Training camp reports say that Gibbs could see a bigger workload this year, even with David Montgomery still lurking. Now, Montgomery's goal line role is a slight concern, but Gibbs was electric last year. He was the RB3 in PPR points per game, 3rd in total running back yardage, 6th in running back targets. He dropped 6 games of 20-plus PPR points. 4 of those came with Montgomery healthy and active. Gibbs, he's a ceiling play, maybe not the safest, but if you want league-winning upside, Jahmyr Gibbs is your guy. CeeDee Lamb. With George Pickens joining the Cowboys, it's tough to push Lamb over Jefferson, but don't overthink it. Lamb has thrived with competition before. He's the only wide receiver to see 150 plus targets in each of the last 3 years. That's absolute gold for fantasy, particularly in PPR formats. Pickens is a clear upgrade on Jalen Tolbert and should help draw coverage away from CeeDee Lamb, making the offense more efficient overall. Lamb's volume and role, they're as safe as it gets. Christian McCaffrey. This is where you have to know your risk tolerance. CMC is 29. He's only played more than 11 games just once in the last 4 years, but when healthy, he's a league winner, full stop. He participated fully in OTAs, even doing drills that a lot of veterans skipped, which suggests he's past his Achilles injuries from 2024. He's also been healthy so far through training camp. Meanwhile, Isaac Guerendo, who impressed last year with 16.3 PPR points per game, he's injured. Guys behind him are injured. The 49ers were confident enough in CMC's health to trade away Jordan Mason. So this one, it's not an easy pick, but CMC, we know he can be a top 5 running back even if he loses a little bit of work to Isaac Guerendo. Now let's talk a couple of players to avoid at the 105. Puka Nacua. The Rams, they have gone all in on Nacua, especially since they moved on from Cooper Kupp. Devontae Adams is going to take some of the pressure off him. Adams ranked 58th in ESPN's open score metric last year. Cooper Kupp was 108th out of 116 qualifiers. So just being able to get open as the secondary wide receiver should make life a little bit easier for Nacua. And Nakua's volume, it is elite. 6.6 receptions per game over the last 2 years, but the problem, it's touchdowns. He's averaged just 0.3 touchdowns per game the last 2 seasons. Compare that to Jamar Chase at 0.7, Justin Jefferson at 0.5, and CeeDee Lamb at 0.5. For Nacua to be a real true difference maker at this price, he has to find the end zone more often. And with the question marks about Matthew Stafford's health, it's a little bit difficult to take him quite this early. Ashton Jeanty. Don't get me wrong, Ashton Jeanty is very exciting, but since 1984, only one rookie running back has finished as the RB1 overall. That was Saquon Barkley in 2018. The Raiders, they have a generational tight end in Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is constantly undervalued. You've got newly signed Raheem Mostert, who's been a goal line vulture for years. Jeanty's time will come, but not quite this early in round 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown is an absolute target hog. He's at 140 plus in each of the last 3 years, hit a career high 12 touchdowns in 2024. But Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams are both surging in how they're developing. Across the back half of last year, they both really came on as well. Increased competition could cap Amon-Ra's ceiling. He's a lock for kind of top 10, top 15, but at the 105, you're paying for perfection. Unless someone else in Detroit gets hurt, you're better off with a higher upside option. Roster construction at the 105. Look, the 105 lets you build in a bunch of directions. If you start wide receiver like CD Lamb, you'll have access to strong running backs like Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs on the way back, plus for top quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. If you go running back first, the wide receivers coming back, guys like AJ Brown, Lad McConkey, I've got a few more question marks around them. I think passing volume for both could be a concern. So here are running back builds, one running back in the first or second round, then load upon wide receivers. They're a little bit easier from this spot. Dual running back starts to leave you a little bit thin at wide receiver, so be ready to pivot. If you want to check out videos on this channel where we dive into both of those strategies, they're linked below in the description. We're going to use Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard to mock draft. It's insanely customizable. You can sync your leagues to it and automatically copy your settings in, and then it'll adjust rankings for that. You can choose which expert rankings and insights you see, including mine, which are part of Fantasy Pros Expert Consensus Rankings. It's a collection of over 100 experts from across the industry. There's no waiting around for other people, nobody taking 6 different kickers. Instead, we mock quickly against the wizard and get feedback from top experts. Check out the link in the description below, and you can start your own mock drafts over there right now. So for this draft, we're going to keep things fairly simple, similar to the kind of home league setup that you're most commonly going to see. We're going with a 2025 season, half PPR, snake draft, picking from the 5th slot. We've got 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex spot, 1 kicker, 1 defense, and then 5 bench spots. At the 105, you can see it's been Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, and Justin Jefferson in this one. I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs. I mentioned that I like the hero RB approach from this point, so I'm okay with that. When things come back around, it is AJ Brown, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, Trey McBride, Lad McConkey. I mentioned that I find this wide receiver tier a little bit tricky, so I am going to take the dual running back approach. It might be a little bit more difficult to make out a good wide receiver room, but we'll go with Bucky Irving, who has real pass catching upside this year. I do have little concerns about how many touches he might get, but if he gets the pass catching role, he should be fine. T. Higgins works well as a wide receiver 1 for us, really proved last year that it doesn't matter that him and Chase are both on the field at the same time. The Bengals defense is so bad that they're just going to throw a lot anyway. With 2 running backs, it's a little too tricky to go down to guys like James Conner or Trevion Henderson, despite them both being exciting players. I'd take Marvin Harrison. Look, top of the queue, I'm fine with that. Marvin Harrison definitely has another level that he can reach to. A year ago, we were drafting this guy at the 1-2 turn, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to give up on him. I'm not doing it just yet. It comes back around, and the guys the Mock Draft Simulator likes is Terry McLaurin. Look, Terry McLaurin really got there on touchdowns last year, and I'm not quite ready to say that a 5th round pick is where I value him. Devonta Smith is a fun player. Jameson Williams as well. I'm going down to a conviction pick, though, for me. For Tetairoa McMillan, I think the volume he's going to see this year is huge. I think he's going to be excellent for Bryce Young, and I just feel really good about him straight from the get-go. In round 6, let's go with Xavier Worthy. The Rashee Rice situation just doesn't feel good. Feels like the NFL really could be pushing for a lengthy ban. And we'll stack him up with Patrick Mahomes. I don't particularly like Patrick Mahomes as much this year as I have in previous years. The Matt Nagy factor seems to really be pulling him down. But Mahomes seems to really have made a point this offseason about how he wants to hit on the deep ball more often. If I've got Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes, that feels like the kind of stat that could be quite valuable for fantasy. The wide receiver room, it's definitely starting to look a little bit better, so we can afford to look at some other positions now. I'm okay taking Ramondre Stevenson. I think we're still going to see him get plenty of the touches in this offense, with Trevion Henderson getting a lot of the pass-catching role, but he's going to have to earn a bigger role as the season goes on. I think Ramondre's fine. We might just have to be aggressive on waivers. We could probably do with a tight end, but look, I like Mark Andrews, David Njoku, and Tucker Kraft, so I'm going to push that a little bit further, and instead we'll take our 5th and probably final wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. The reports out in New England have been pretty positive for Diggs, so I'm okay taking him. Again, all 3 of these tight ends, plus Tyler Warren, who I like as well, and Colston Loveland, Jake Ferguson, Dalton Kincaid, there's still plenty of good tight ends, so let's push that a little bit further. And instead, we'll take Braylon Allen. The drumbeat for Braylon Allen's getting stronger. It sounds like he could really see a lot of touches for the Jets this year, and that kind of running back by committee approach. And if he gets a goal line role, then that could be really valuable in half PPR format like this. Mark Andrews goes off the board. We'll take Tucker Kraft. Last year, he was absolutely elite in yards after the catch, and he was great at getting in the red zone. He had 7 touchdowns. That's a big number at tight end. If he gets a little bit more volume, if the Packers are a little more pass happy, then that could be really good for us. Round 12, we only got 4 more picks to go. We'll take another running back, and we will take Marshawn Lloyd. He's somebody that I've liked all off season. Training camp reports have been really positive when he's out there. He just needs to stay healthy. And at this point in the draft, we can afford to take those kind of dart throws on him. Then we need one more running back before we hit the point of kickers and defense. Let's go Kyle Monongai. I've been a Roshan Johnson stan for most of the offseason, but it sounds like Roshan Johnson could be on the out. And if that means that Kyle Monongai is going to have a bigger role, then so be it. I'm never taking a defense or kicker earlier. I just don't see the value in doing so. So instead, let's wait till this point in the draft. And then I don't really want to put the Chiefs on the same team as Mahomes and Worthy. I feel like that correlates slightly negatively. So instead, let's go with the Bills, who year to year have had a pretty solid defense. I think we made some nice additions this year. And then we will take Chase McLaughlin. Look, top-ranked kicker in ADP. I'm not going to pretend to be a kicker genius. So Mock Draft Wizard, they gave us an A-, 92 out of 100. Let's click through, see what the experts reckon about this roster. Projected for second most points. Look, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Quite often, I'm just trying to make sure that I've got a team that's built good enough to get into the playoffs. Mock Draft Wizard liked the fact that we took Tucker Kraft in the 11th round, 2 rounds later than he's ranked. It did say that we reached on Marshawn Lloyd in the 12th round, 3 rounds earlier than he's ranked, but hey, I'm not worried about that too much. It did say if we drafted Mark Andrews at tight end at 10:08 and then drafted a running back later, your score could be 25 points higher. Okay, it's an interesting one, maybe something we could review at another point. Our team, though, with that dual running back start, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bucky Irving, T. Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Terrell McMillan, Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes, Ramondre Stevenson, Stephon Diggs, Braylon Allen, Tucker Kraft, Marshawn Lloyd, Kyle Monongai, Buffalo Bills defense, and Chase McLaughlin. What do you reckon to this draft? Do you reckon this was the best way to go out of 105? Would you have done something differently? Do you think the dual running back start works and is viable in 2025? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you check out the channel because we've got loads of content, loads of great guests, some big names coming in the next few weeks. And go check out this video with Theo Greminger of Fantasy Points, where we talked his favorite breakout players.